Welcome to Red Dead Redemption 2, modded into Undead Nightmare 2. Arthur Morgan is back in the snowy mountains, on his way to complete another contract. There's another house in this isolated area that's become overrun with zombies, and there's no better man for the job than Arthur Morgan, the expert pelt trapper and hunter with the zombie killing certification. The zombie population continues to rise, but Arthur Morgan does his best to try and keep the population under control. Every piece of land the living can take back is one step further for humanity, making a comeback. So Arthur Morgan rides through the snow until he reaches his destination. Zombies were of course there, the house was destroyed, and they were rolling pretty deep. This time Arthur Morgan came prepared with some extra ammo, a few cups of that BBC, you may know it as Big Black Coffee, and a love of killing zombies. Arthur was in the back picking off these zombies, while Barry was in the middle taking them out up close and personal. We can't let Barry have all the fun though. Arthur Morgan inched his way up, popping heads, and then got up close and personal for a little slice and dice. It was quiet now, but we had to verify the undead were taken care of. Looks like we forgot one, but now the area was clear. We burnt the slayed bodies, so other zombies weren't attracted, and then it seemed it was another good day's work. Arthur Morgan went back to collect payment, and now it was time to pay an old friend a visit. We went back to Beecher's Hope in the hope of seeing our good friend John Marston. Unfortunately, John was dead again. Damn. He was seemingly bitten by a zombie trying to defend the farm. At least it wasn't Arthur this time, shooting him in the back of the head. John was still John though, even if he was dead, and he was always raring to go and hunt some pelts with Arthur. So the two of them got the wagon ready because it was time for Arthur to get back to his pelt trapping and hunting ways. Arthur Morgan and zombified John Marston were ready to set out to go and collect some pelts. The wagon was fixed up and ready. They just had to get lucky enough to find something living that they could hunt. So the dynamic duo set out on the trail in the hopes of finding their pelt fortune. They rode all day until it eventually turned nighttime, and then they rode all night until the morning eventually hit. But in the morning a storm started to brew, so they had no choice but to sit back and relax for a little bit. The storm would surely scare off any of the wildlife they were looking for. Arthur Morgan and Barry secured the campsite, dishing out damage to the undead, but the living were also pretty brutal. A gang of raiders came by to say hi, and Arthur Morgan said hi back. We waited out the storm, having a sip of that whiskey, rescuing zombie John from getting beat up, and then the storm was clear. So it was time to hop back on the wagon and see what we could see. What we did see were two magnificent deer. So Arthur Morgan did what he did best and hit him with a couple of perfect arrow shots. This was a big score, and that new fresh meat was attracting zombies. We had to protect our new kills, so Arthur Morgan shot some arrows to stay as silent as possible, whipped back to the wagon, ran over a zombie, and then quickly loaded the deer inside the wagon. More zombies were coming though, but Arthur has those quick hands. We successfully loaded the deer up, and then Arthur Morgan headed back to Beecher's Hope. We had scored ourselves a win, so we skinned our win, loaded those pelts in our wagon, and then gave the carcass over to Abigail to cook Arthur Morgan and Zombie John a nice deer soup.